What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another episode of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about the holdouts, why gamers haven't upgraded to a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X yet. We're going to be talking about, from an article from Windows Central, it's an opinion piece by Jez Corden, what to expect from the Xbox Game Showcase 2024, a roadmap for the future. We're going to talk about XDefiant, servers plagued with problems at launch. And we're also going to talk about PlayStation executive predicts focus will shift from graphics to immersive narratives. If you like what we do here, we cover news stories, have conversations with live chat. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do this Monday through Thursday, usually at 10 o'clock in the morning to about noon Eastern. Today I had a family, my son is finishing third grade. They had a little award ceremony this morning. So that's what we were doing this morning. So I appreciate your patience, and let's get to the news stories. What's going on, Travis? What's going on, Stealth? What's going on, Water? What's going on, Dustin? Robert Jones, Aunt Jemima, Z, what's going on? How was the award ceremony? It was actually, it was boring because when your son or daughter is not up on stage, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, just want to see my son. And then once your son gets up there, you're like, hey, you know, you do all that shit. My son, I'm actually really proud of him. Okay, because they give out awards, you know what I mean? They, you know, best grades. He made the A/B honor roll. He got the best for his grade. He got the best person in physical education, like as far as athleticism. So he got an award for that. He got an award for social studies, and he got an award for most curious person who asked questions, which really hits hard for me because I always say I teach him every single day, right? Learn something new every day, always ask questions. And he got an award for it. He got an award for always asking questions and always trying to learn. So that was a big one. And he was one of the kids that got 4 awards. Everyone else, the most they had, there was like 3 or 4 other people out of 45, 50 kids in the class, like in the total third grade. Actually, it's more than that. It's 18. Yeah, it's like 50, 55 kids. He was the only one to get 4 awards. Awards. There was a couple others that got like 3 awards. So very proud of my son. He's 30, so he definitely didn't get the Kiss Ass Award. No. Had an award ceremony on yesterday, and they both got a ton of awards. AB Honor Roll, scored the highest in social studies on the test, and a few other awards. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and you know what's funny? I wasn't gonna go because I was like, I have to work this morning, and I asked my son, I have to work this morning. Do you want me to go? And he said, yeah, I would like you there. I went, okay. So I just canceled the stream this morning, and I said I'll do it later, right? Because I didn't, you know, a part of me is just like, it's just a little award ceremony. But then I was like, I think my son wants me there. So, and I totally forgot about the award ceremony. I totally forgot about it. Because tomorrow's the last day of school for him. So it's like a half day of school. I'm glad I went, though. I'm glad I went. All right. Let me see. Is there any news that happened while I was at the award ceremony? Oh, there's some more multiverses. They showed some footage of the actual Jason fighting and whatnot. All right, let's talk about Atari bought someone. Didn't they buy? We have that story already in our Discord. I think I'm going to talk about that tonight with Sarge on GXG. Yeah, in television. All right, let's start off with from GameFile. Oh, and we did our upload from yesterday this morning in place of the show this morning. Oh, here we go. About talking about IGN buying out the other companies and whatnot, if that's good or not. So that posted earlier today. About Xbox wants to buy Steam for $16 billion. That's a rumor, though. That's not really a story. You know what I mean? I mean, we could have a conversation about it, Stealth, which we will. We'll talk about it tonight with Sarge on GXG, but it's not really it's not a news story. You know what I mean? It's someone tweeted that it's happening, and other people are like, yeah, it's just a rumor. It's extremely dangerous for democracy. That's right. It would be blocked 1,000%. They can't block it. Nobody can block it if they decided to buy it, Stealth. It's a privately owned company. It's not a publicly traded company. The FTC or anybody else can't get involved with it. If Gabe Newell decides to sell his company, it's a privately owned company. It's just one company buying asset from the person. That's it. There is no blocking. There's no blocking whatsoever. Yeah, it's a privately owned company. So when people say, oh, yeah, it's not going to happen, all I'm saying is $16 billion is a lot of money. Okay? Gabe Newell's worth like $4 billion right now. Like he's worth as much as they paid for Star Wars back in 2012. Okay? And everyone has a price. And again, he's been on the record saying he's not interested. He would rather disintegrate than sell it off to EA and stuff like that. But everyone has a price. Now, I personally believe that he's not going to sell Steam, but I do believe they're going to team up and do something with Steam and Microsoft. I do believe that. That's what I said yesterday, Titan. I said Gabe should sell it for $16 billion, then just start another company like Steam to go up against Steam. I was like, he already knows what to do. Yeah, but I don't want them to buy it. Stealth, that would be, even though it's privately owned, it would be 100% a monopoly, right? It would be 100% a monopoly. And the reason it's a monopoly is because Microsoft already dominates the PC market because of the operating system and whatnot. And now they're buying Steam, the most dominant of gaming on PC. So they would just dominate the PC market, which, you know, it is what it is. Most likely, what it is, I gotta feel Steam's gonna work with Xbox. That's the way I feel, Eclipse. I feel like they're just teaming up. They're doing something. If it is Game Pass on Steam, right? If it's a team up where Steam's on inside of Game Pass, right? Something. I don't know. I have a feeling it's going to be included, and they're gonna do something. But I don't think Microsoft, at least at this time, is not going to buy Steam. But they're definitely partnering up for something. All right, so let's start off from the Android. I feel dirty, lost and confused. You switched from you got an iPhone upgrade, and you went from an Android. So you're like in an alternate universe right now, Stealth. Morning, Wonder Rose. If Xbox owns Steam, does this mean Sony continues to publish PC players? Yes, they would have to. They would have to, Travis. What would the other option? If PlayStation wants to make more money, they still have to push it out to PC. If it's going to Steam or if it's going to Epic or whatever. Oh, punish, not publish. Sorry. It wouldn't punish them. They would still have to do it, and it wouldn't punish them because they could decide, right? And this is the bad thing, though, right? So let's say this goes through where Microsoft gets Steam, and then all of a sudden Sony makes a bid for Epic, or you know what I mean? Like they start trying to buy other things up. Consolidation down the road, 10, 15, 20 years from now, then all of a sudden Microsoft and that owns Steam now tries to buy, Sony. Obviously it can't really happen that way because those are publicly traded companies. See, Steam is the catalyst, I think, here, because Steam is a privately owned company. So anyone could buy them and they could just sell. They don't have to go through the FTC. They don't have to go through any of this stuff. All right. Let's start off with this right here. Okay, we had a report the other day that half the people didn't use or didn't move over to the next Xbox or the next PlayStation, right? 50% for both of them. I think Jez Gordon reported that as well. All right, so GameFile here, which is not owned. I'm gonna have to say that from now on, right? Which is not owned by IGN. Okay, the holdouts. Why some gamers haven't upgraded to PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series S or Series. I don't know why they put it in quotes. I think that's like an insult type of thing, like why people haven't moved over to a PlayStation or an Xbox Series. It's like you could have just said, why aren't they upgrading to the next generation? You know what I mean? But hey, whatever. This is not a matter of games or money. It's this time around. Okay, so more than 50 million active PlayStation users are merely playing on Sony's last-gen PlayStation 4 console and have yet to upgrade to PlayStation 5. Now, Sony's president said last week, and why haven't they done so? Over the past week, we've heard some more than 300 gamers about why they or people they close to haven't stuck with PlayStation 4 or have stuck with PlayStation 4 or Xbox One in the world where so much attention is now on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. For these gamers, their so-called the eighth generation of hardware, and the one that began back in 2013 is just fine. No need for 2020's ninth gen, even past the apparent halfway point. And you can safely guess some of the holdout reasons. They would also typically, in any console transition, lack the next-gen games catching their eye, lack of money to pay for the new box, and when the old one still works pretty well. This is a thing, like my brother-in-law, the last system that he owned, and the last game he really played, he played NCAA football, loved NCAA football, okay, which is now coming back out. He loved Grand Theft Auto 5, okay, which remember started on the Xbox, what was it? The Xbox 360, okay? Then went to the 1, then went to the Series, went to the PlayStation, started on 3, went to 4, went to 5, okay? He still owns an Xbox 360, okay? When he comes over, he's like, oh, is this the next Xbox? I'm like, no, this is the 2 Xboxes from the last one you bought. He's like, what, really? Right? Because now he's got a kid, and his kid wants to play video games. And the kid can't play games on the 360 because, well, he can, but his friends also play games, and he wants to play with them. Well, he can't play on the 360, so he has to decide now, does he want a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series S or X or type of thing, right? Or a Switch. So he has to move up to the next generation because now he birthed a kid and the kid wants to play games with his friends, right? So obviously a lot of kids haven't moved up, right? 50% of the Xbox, even though they sold less than half of what the PlayStation did, half of those people still haven't bought an Xbox. PlayStation 4, there's still 60 million people that don't own a PlayStation 5 or want to play a PlayStation 5 Pro when it comes out. They might wait till the PlayStation 6, and even when the PlayStation 6 comes out, the early adopters won't be the people that owned an older system. They'll be the people that already own the next-gen system, the people that have to keep up with the Joneses, right? A lot of people don't move over till 4 or 5 years into the console cycle because there's no games that they want. They wait to see what the envelope push, or they're waiting for money, okay? It says other reason is unique to the generation, the pandemic, changing platform policies, stubborn pricing, slow pace of releases, and they don't all seem like one-time issue. They're also here hoping that they don't have another pandemic for the century or so, and the hit that how players may view future console shifts as well. And then there's the outlier responses, like the people who told me they're just waiting for PlayStation 6. They just skip, right? Just like my brother-in-law, who skipped the Xbox One, who skipped. He doesn't even know about this system, right? So ask people questions like this, and you get a lot of interesting answers, okay? So there's a lot of different ways or why people are not moving over to the next gen. Personally, to me, it's the way games are now where they're digital, right? I really don't need to buy a console, right? I can play the games on PC. I can play it on a handheld. I can play it on my cell phone. I can play it, right? I don't need to buy the next gen system. And again, it doesn't matter if it's PlayStation, doesn't matter if it's Switch, doesn't matter if it's if it's an Xbox, right? Lots of more kids are playing on mobile devices. There's other means to keep their attention. If it's YouTube, if it's an actual video game they're playing on a mobile device, if it's a smaller less known handheld, if it's a older system where they're just playing games by themselves, if it's just the internet, web browser, there's so many different ways that you can actually get games and play games nowadays. You actually don't need the next generation console. And then let's just say you do need it, right? You still want to play games on the console systems. Well, even then, you're like, well, where do I play? Well, it all depends on what your close circle is. If your close circle, okay, decides they want a PlayStation 5, then you're going to go towards a PlayStation 5. But then it comes into price. Hey, mom, hey, dad, right? Because a lot of kids don't have jobs. Lots of parents are hurting for money, okay? And they get to decide, hey, here comes Christmas, maybe here comes thing. And there's a lot of different aspects to look into. It's not just as easy as a grown-up like me and yourself, right, where we have jobs and we make money and we have money saved up. We're like, I want that, I'm going to buy that. When you're a kid, remember? Me and Sarge, when we were kids, we got games for our birthdays and Christmas, okay? So you would ask different, like, aunts and uncles, oh, yeah, I'm interested in this. Just give me a gift card. Just give me this. So you could buy the game that you wanted, or you would get the game that you want. Then when Christmas time came, my birthday's in May, his is in July, and then Christmas is in December, we would get enough games between my birthday and his birthday to last till Christmas, and then Christmas, we both get all video games. Not until I was a teenager did I start buying games myself, okay? Because I wanted to buy more games, or instead of just renting games, I wanted to own those games, right? So there's a big difference between being a kid and being told what system you're getting, and because you want a system and mom and dad decide what system to give you, and being your own individual where you can earn and buy your own system. So here we are now. Back in the day, yes, inflation and whatnot, but systems weren't $500. They were $300, right? They were $350. Right now, they're $500, a little bit more expensive for people to buy. A lot of people don't want to buy those systems. A lot of people want to wait to see what games come out, right? Because, you know, when 360 came out, was it 360? Or Xbox One when Rise of Rome came out, right? Or 1886 came out for PlayStation, right? They have these games that come out that, like, push the envelope to show you what its potential can do for each of the systems, but then at the same time, you're like, I'm going to wait. And you don't get games for that system for 3-4 years into the cycle, because back then, games took 3 to 5 years to make. Now, games take 5 to 7 years to make for big blockbuster games. So there's a lot of things out there that you don't want to purchase a system because you're like, I'll just wait, because it's better if you wait. It's cheaper if you wait. All of these things, the benefits of waiting outweighs the buy now mentality. Especially, we know how many times have we bought a game that it gets better over time, that you wait for things to get fixed, right? They come out broke, buggy, unfinished, right? And then you buy it down the road and you get the whole game, right? The game is actually finished. If you buy Diablo now, okay, it's a better game than it was if you bought it last year for $100. Okay, if you buy Battlefield 2042 now, okay, it's a better game now than it was 22 months ago. Okay, if you buy Cyberpunk now, it's a better game than it was when it came out 4 years ago, right? So there really is no reason to rush to go out and buy this next latest, greatest game. And that's where the two benefits, or the two businesses, differ. PlayStation's looking to console sales now, and Xbox is like, we don't really care if you buy a console. You can play it wherever you want, right? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Are you a person that has not got the new console system, or are you waiting, right? Maybe you want to buy a PlayStation 5, but now you're waiting for the PlayStation 5 Pro. Maybe you want to buy an Xbox, but you're waiting to hear out what their next system is down the road. Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you waiting for the Switch 2? Are you waiting for the new console to be announced and then buy the older current gen that is now because it will be cheaper? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, please make sure you check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Yeah, like Suicide Squad, right? $31. That's right. Polish, not polished, Travis says. Xbox owns Steam, and Sony goes, you have to sign up and give us your firstborn to play Sony on PC. Titan says Series X, meh. I thought Series S prevented it from being next gen. Eclipse says, because pretty much everyone on console plays third party anyway, so why upgrade to play the game that you already play? Right. GTA 5 now on your fingernails. Let's see here. So when you And when three, AAA games, I'm assuming that's what AAA games come out, they're buggy and unfinished, right? And then Eclipse says, like Suicide Squad. Speaking of Season 2, dropped today. And I'm like, meh, not Season 2, Travis. It's Episode 2. Episode 2. Eclipse says, I hate Part 2. I wish I would never have bought that game. Man, you went from really liking the game, Eclipse, to really hating the game. That was like real fast, 0 to 60. Kuda Papa says the PlayStation 5 Pro is a waste of money for the mere amount of performance upgrade. The meager amount of performance upgrade. It keeps crashing now? Jeez. That's bad. Marvel's Avengers pissed me off, right? Because we got it originally on the Xbox One. And then they did the upgrade to the X, and I had the X. And it was crashing left and right. Wasn't it on the One? I forget it was the One. Or if it was playing on the S. I forget, though. On the X, it was crashing left and right until they did a fix, which came like months later. Yeah, I'm going to try to get through these stories because I have until about 2 o'clock. So about another hour and a half. They lied. They said that the story content would be cutscenes. All I got was a picture again. Just like Destiny. Oh, did they not do any more story again, Eclipse? Oh, Christ. Go on, Dolphin. They didn't even. Did they even do like a cutscene like they did for Joker? Like even like the comic book style? Nothing. How do you make a comic book game and not put comic book stuff in it? They're literally stories. So stupid. So stupid. They said it won't be a true story cutscene until Season 2, not Episode 2, not Season 2. Yeah, but here's the thing, Travis. It's a comic book game. I'm okay not getting cutscenes, but tell stories. I don't care if you do it in comic book style, okay? Just tell me a story. Progress the story. It's going to do a Diablo turnaround? I don't know about that. What's going on, Jack? People that don't like comics, that's how? It just blows me away, Jag, that people want to use, right? And this goes into a different conversation as well, right? Like the people that want to take like the Lord of the Rings IP, but not make Lord of the Rings. People that want to take the Doctor Who IP, but not make Doctor Who. People that want to take Star Wars, but not make Star Wars. People that want to take the DC or Marvel IPs, but not make the actual comic book stories where it came from. It boggles my mind that these companies, they're like, hey, yeah, you know what we could do? We could buy these companies and we could have all these IPs and then do nothing with it and then completely change it because how did Marvel become a multi-billion-dollar company? How did DC become a multi-billion-dollar company? How did they last 80 to 100 years in existence? Because they made stories that people liked reading. And yet they make these fucking games or movies or TV shows and they have no idea what the fuck they're doing. I'm trying to figure out what devs are smoking when you're talking about IP. Trying to make it into your own. All I want to do is play a goddamn story in a video game form. That's right. Right? They don't need to change anything, right? They could literally right? They can take They could take the Ultimate X-Men. They could take Transformers Armada, right? They could take Transformers Within. They could take the comics that are exactly what they are and just make them in video game form. So instead of me, like, it could be the exact same comic. You know why? Because 98% of the people on planet Earth didn't read this comic, so they don't know what the story is. And people that did read the story, that understand what the story is, they can actually play the character now instead of just reading it off the pages. How these corporations don't understand this, it's beyond me. Look what Star Wars is doing right now, right? 10 years ago, they told you that they didn't need the extended universe. There's no stories written by Timothy Zahn. And yet all of a sudden now they're making movies and TV shows based off of Timothy Zahn's stuff. And instead of just doing what those good stories were, they're now like dissecting little bits and pieces from here and here and pretending it's their own original story. Crazy part to me is, of the guys working on and have publicly said, we got trashed online, so why are these things, people, anything good? They don't deserve it. The cutscene was a comic book style again, and it was actually pretty cool. It was pretty much confirmed. Joker is still a bad guy, and they wants to control the new realm that he's in, okay? But that's the opening cutscene, right? And obviously you haven't played long enough. Is there other content, story missions to do while we do actual things in the game, right? Jack says, Wizard's first rule, people are stupid. No, I have no interest in Hellblade. I didn't play the first one, and I'm not going to play the second one. I have no interest in the game. It's just one of those games that didn't appeal to me. So I have nothing to say good or bad about it. It's just I'm not interested in it. I hope so. It keeps crashing. It's just insane to me. It's insane to me that people have these IPs like, oh, we want to make billions of dollars, but we don't want to actually do any kind of storytelling. Wait, you want us to work and make cutscenes? Like, obviously, I don't want a game that's all just a movie game, right? But I do want something that shows me and tells me story in a video game, right? Like, I'm okay going to a rooftop in Suicide Squad, killing the Thing, and doing that like 4 times. Like, even what was that game that came out last summer? Exoprimal, right? Exoprimal, and also the Ghostbusters game. Okay, the Ghostbusters game that came out, the co-op Ghostbusters game, right? You're level 10. The next cutscene happens at level 12. So you play the game, you level up your character, and then when you go back to the fire station, it does another cutscene or some story. And you're like, okay, cool. And then go back in game, play game to get to level 15. Same with Exoprimal. Do a mission or 2, come back to the Thing, get a story content. Go back, play the game, come back in the Thing, story content. You're like, oh, progression. Why am I doing this? Oh, this is interesting. No. Suicide Squad says, here's an opening cutscene. Go do this 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, and we're not going to give you anything. But we'll give you an audio log. We'll give you an audio log that says that Joker likes, he swings both ways. Well, thank you very much for that. That's super storytelling. Sure. Division did that, Jones, with the echoes and different audio logs. Hell, Fallout has done that all the time with the audio, with the holotapes and whatnot. They give you some sort of backstory and story. They don't do. They have audio logs, but they tell very little. They're like a paragraph. Right. You don't know the story until you... And that's another thing, right? In Suicide Squad, they give you story, but you don't know how to get the audio tape or find the audio tape. So you could be missing a piece and missing a piece of the puzzle, played 1,000 hours, and still haven't found the actual puzzle. Imagine just doing a mission 3 times, and then you level up 3 times, and at the next upgrade, you're like, oh, it's a story piece. Nah, I don't got time for that. I don't got time to do that. Well, that's what I said today, Altern, when you posted the thing in about the article about that Ubisoft came out and said they confirmed that the Assassin's Creed, they're both part of the LGBTQ, and I'm like, I honestly don't care. I don't care. I mean, in my Discord, this is what I posted. I said, I don't identify as Pac-Man. Okay? Pac-Man was just a circle chomping up things and eating ghosts. I didn't need to see myself in video games. I don't care if Pac-Man is a lesbian or if he's transgender or if he's a straight yellow dot. I don't care. Okay? I don't care if Miss Pac-Man and Pac-Man actually had kids and they were married. I don't care about any of that stuff. Okay? All I cared about was playing the game of moving Pac-Man on the board and doing the thing, and that's it. Okay? I don't care if zeros and ones, what sexual preference they have, or who they're fucking in a game. That doesn't really matter, unless the game is literally about fucking. Pac-Man was a dude on drugs. It's just a fact. There you go. I don't care if Mario's banging Peach or if he likes Toad. Okay? I don't care. I hate all this shit. Just make a good game. Make a good game. Right? If it's pertinent to the story, okay, that the samurai wants revenge because his partner got killed, and then that says, okay, well, he's a gay guy, and now he's doing revenge to his loved one. Cool. If it's not that, then I don't care. Right? If you're not putting it in the story as part of the thing, I don't care what the zeros and ones preferences are. Straight, gay, transgender, I don't care. I just want a video game to be a video game and make good stories. That's it. That's all I care about. If I want to be preached to, I'll go to church or whatever other religion that anyone else is out there. If you want to be preached to, go to one of those things. People play video games to play video games and be entertained. Right? There was a button. There was a thing that you guys posted, right? And I said yesterday, let me find it. Okay. Was that in the general chat yesterday? Well, Sarge found how to use Discord and spammed a bunch of shit. Now it's hard to find the stuff. Hold on one second. Yeah, this one right here, right? This image right here, right? This was for Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? For people that are, well, if you're racist, now you have to choose. You have to choose a woman that you don't like or a black person you don't like. That's just erase bitch in black and put play our game, or the other button says if you don't, you're racist, right? Not because you're not interested in that game, not because you don't care, maybe the game's not good or whatever. Right? It's either play our game or you're sexist and racist. That's what that button should say. Okay? It has nothing to do that there's a woman protagonist. It has nothing to do with the Black Samurai. It has nothing to do with any of that stuff. Okay? It has everything to do with pushing something of an agenda. Right? Because it doesn't matter what zeros and ones are. Going from that, let's go to the next story. As I go off on a little tangent. All right, so this is Windows Central. Windows Central has a piece here, Jez Gordon. Okay. He says, what to expect from Xbox Game Showcase 2024, a roadmap for the future, and the big questions answered, but will you like the answers? Okay. If you like what I do here, we cover news stories, conversations, have it live chat, give you my thoughts and opinions on stuff. If you like that, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like to go above and beyond that, you can give me $5, and it goes above and beyond. You don't have to give me $5 because all of this is free. Enjoy. Okay. And if you don't like my stuff, that's fine too. Just hit that like button, thumbs up, leave a comment. Don't leave a comment. It doesn't bother me. Okay. So the Xbox Game Showcase for 2024 goes live on June 9th, which is just a couple of weeks away. And here are our biggest predictions and expectations for this year's show. Okay, so this is his thoughts. Okay, this doesn't mean this is going to happen. This is what he thinks is going to happen, or maybe some of the insider stuff that he has. So let's see what he has to say. Okay. The Xbox Game Showcase 2024 kicks off on June 9th, 2024. Streamed live across Xbox YouTube channel and other places, which you could watch live right here. We'll watch it live and have conversations about it as it's going on. We've been doing this for about a decade now, so that's what we do. It will also follow by the Call of Duty Direct, which I have no interest in, but we'll watch it because that's what we do, revealing the next Black Ops title while confirming the inclusion in Xbox Game Pass. The theme of this year's Xbox Game Showcase will be one of change. There will be some familiar beats, incredible looking games, sequels to beloved franchises, and the rivals of some Xbox classic or the revivals of some Xbox classics. But a cloud remains over the overreaching strategy of with Xbox publishing games more broadly than it ever has previously. In a prior Xbox showcase, Microsoft had a huge song and dance of a word exclusive in a deep cinematic delivery. Given Microsoft has started porting older Xbox games to PlayStation now, I have a feeling there also will be a lot of less of the exclusive verbiage this year, with the potential that one or two, or maybe even more, first-party titles revealed at the showcase will also not be truly console exclusive. Here's the thing, though. Even if it is console exclusive or if it's timed exclusive, right? If you're a person, again, people pre-order games all the time. They want to buy it day and date, right? So even if Xbox comes out and says all of these games are exclusive, there wouldn't be a lie, because it would be exclusive at the launch of those games, meaning it's on Game Pass or it's on PC or it's on Xbox. And then if there's a timetable after that, meaning that 6 months or 1 year afterwards, they say, oh, well, now it's coming over to other platforms, that wouldn't be a lie because it was still exclusive for that time, right? Same difference with Hogwarts Legacy, when they have the timed exclusive mission that was for PlayStation, is exclusive. It was a timed exclusive, and then it's coming out for PlayStation, or I'm sorry, Xbox and PC later this year. Okay? So it says the internet has debated in merits of strategy and at the nauseum. But what is it up to the debate is how important is the quality will this be at the showcase? This Microsoft first showing its fully post-pandemic era, and many of the previously announced titles and previously acquired studios have yet to really bear fruit. I'm confident that we'll start to reap the benefits of those acquisitions at this event. The potential for this show is remembered as one of the Xbox's best events for raw gaming quality is incredibly high. Okay, because we still have to see State of Decay 3. We still have to see some Fable stuff. There's a lot of other games they've showed in the past that we haven't seen anything from. So potentially they could show it at this year's showcase, or it gets pushed back even more. Okay, it says Microsoft has truly a massive slate of previous announced Xbox games that have largely gone dark since the original reveal. Everwild, Fable, Perfect Dark, State of Decay 3, Contraband, amongst the various others. The more recently revealed games like Blade, Clockwork Revolution, Indiana Jones are less likely to get another selection or section at this event, potentially at least or potential at least, but I think it's safe to assume that at least some of the long-time holdouts will finally be revealed. I mean, obviously, we're going to see Indiana Jones, right? It's coming out later this year. Clockwork Revolution, we might see something from it, but that's not coming out this year. That's coming out sometime next year, right? Microsoft has likely learned some harsh lessons from announcing certain projects too early. Oh, yeah? We'll speak to, was it Square Enix? Where's Beyond Good and Evil 2? We saw that like 10 years ago. And we have yet to see anything from that. It's like Skull and Bones all over again. Okay. There's been a lot of rumors about troubled development for titles like Everwild, which is also lost key creative staff. It also sits beneath the demanding live service that is Sea of Thieves at Rare. The initiative entire structure was upped to during the development of Perfect Dark, moving from a flat structure to something more traditional format. Contraband, formerly as exclusively revealed by the Project Typhoon, has also had some difficult development since it revealed owning the pandemic in part, but also due to the departing key directional staff. At least some of the cases, one of these have heard that Perfect Dark is shaping up nicely now, which is why I pin my hopes here for the most in-depth reveal amongst them and the Xbox more exclusive titles. Now, Perfect Dark is a sci-fi spy thriller being developed by Initiative and the Crystal Dynamics of Tomb Raider fame. The original has a cult following, developed by a Rare as a success to GoldenEye 007, and I would bet money on this making an appearance this year. Now, Perfect Dark was a popular game, but it is a very niche market. It's a very cult following. So again, you got to remember that Perfect Dark might not be this. Right now, people are like, well, whatever Microsoft's working on, it needs to be like up to here. And what Microsoft is looking at is just another game for Game Pass. It's another game to put on Game Pass as value, okay? So people that are Perfect Dark fans will probably buy it day one. But at the same time, a lot of people would just go, I'll just wait for it to be on Game Pass, which is usually day and date, right? So you don't have to buy it. So what is the success rate for that? We don't know. They know. But it's no matter what they come out with, it's all value on top of for value for Game Pass. He continues here by saying another title is incredibly eager to see is the State of Decay 3. It seems like high time that I also get bigger glimpses at it on June 9th. Now, I was excited about this game, but like 4 years ago when they first showed it. Okay, and here we are. Like, you know what me and Sarge say on GXG? Don't say anything unless you have something to show. They showed that way too early. Okay, way too early. State of Decay 2 was dired at State of Decay 1.5, but some at launch owning it very that the zombie apocalypse simulation title, an ambitious attempt to thread a third-person combat and overreaching strategy survival simulation gameplay. Complete with co-op with friends, however, the awkward tethering system from State of Decay 2 made cooperative play something of a chore. And the fundamentals had to change a great deal from the predecessor since the Undead Labs and partners worked tirelessly to add new content mechanics and polish to State of Decay 2 while preparing the shift for State of Decay 3. State of Decay 2 is a very underrated game. It's a very good zombie game. If you're looking for a good zombie game, that's the game. Okay. It has previously been said that State of Decay 3 enlisted the help of Coalition of Gears of War fame to upgrade the visuals. I've previously criticized Microsoft for using slick photorealistic CGI to tease future projects only for the finished project to look absolutely nothing like what it was teased. However, I've heard that the trusted sources that State of Decay 3 does look far more impressive than its predecessor. Okay, with more attention to visual presentation being core pillar. In addition to State of Decay 3, we're also lean more heavily into the narrative elements that immerse you in game's world. Your community of State of Decay 2 is your main character, but also the backstories rarely come into play while experiencing the game of State of Decay 3. We'll also try to work individual community members' backstories more visceral into the gameplay. And to make their trials more impactful and immersive, losing your favorite community member to Plague should be more of a gut punch in State of Decay 3 as a result. I think it's pretty bad now. In State of Decay 1 and State of Decay 2, when people lost their main characters, they were visually upset. Like, it does... You put all that time into that character, and it's like a hardcore mode, right? The next thing he says, there are also some more obvious candidates, too. Given that the launch window for Avowed from Obsidian is almost certain to make an appearance, I also heard that the latest build looks a lot more impressive than the previous reveal. Southern Gothic action game South of Midnight could also get an official launch date alongside the co-op side-scroller brawler Towerborn, which is 4-time strategy title, ARA, History Untold. And there's also a Flight Simulator 2024 to consider. The potential updates for some of the Microsoft service games like Sea of Thieves and Fallout 76 there are also some potential bigger, more headline-making games poised for greater reveal as well. I think Fallout 76 comes out on the 6th, so that might come out before the reveal on Sunday, or does it come out on the Tuesday afterwards? I'm not even too sure. I think it comes out the Tuesday before, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Gears of War also has been quiet in recent years. The Coalition arguably carried Microsoft Xbox alongside Playground's Forza franchise in some ways, but has taken a much longer time out to craft the next entry in the series. Now, the Coalition has also been working on hard to help some of the Microsoft other studios squeeze more juice out of the Unreal Engine, and we've also seen some fruits of that in the games like Hellblade 2 more recently. But now, it might be time for Coalition to step out of the shadows with rumors abound about the Gears of War 6. I like the Gears series. I've always liked the Gears series. The last one wasn't my favorite, but still good overall. Revealed many be the docket. There's also been some long-standing rumors that the Coalition has also built a Halo Master Chief-like collection of its previous games, comprising of Gears of War 1 through 3, remastered with fresh visuals. That'd be cool. That would be cool. If indeed the project is real, announcing alongside a similar theoretical Gears 6 teaser would be a welcome combo. You guys know that I don't like remasters and remakes, right? But what intrigues me about the Gears of War 1 through 3, because I'm on the Xbox ecosystem, I don't have to pay for those, because those will 100% be on Game Pass as a remaster where I won't have to dish out the money even though I already own the games, right? If 1 through 3 remastered come out with fresh visuals, that'd be cool. And that'd be a cool thing to play on Game Pass as more value for the value to put on Game Pass, right? It says, perhaps we could also see Xbox other pillar franchise like Forza make a splash in the showcase too. It also has been a while since we had a new Forza Horizon title, perhaps partially owning the development of the Fable and also healthy concurrent player base of Forza Horizon 5. Speaking of which, we could see Fable appear here again. To guess, it may also still be too early to live demonstration, but we can't also be too far seeing it as well. I mean, they have to do something with that soon, I would think, by next year. Also, I doubt we'll also be seeing any glimpses of the Halo at this event, but we also well know that 343 is in the shadows preparing the next iteration of Microsoft's most prolific and arguably the most mishandled franchise. It says, when it comes to pillar franchises like Halo and Forza and Gears, many are wondering where they might fit in Microsoft's multi-platform push codename Latitude at the firm, which also should be getting an update during the Xbox showcase period as well. Now it says, questions of strategy will cloud event. It says, I previously noted that I've heard there's also more Xbox-owned titles slated for multi-platform treatment in the near term. Okay, I think the obvious examples of this could also go multi-platform, or Xbox Series XS and PlayStation 5 would be the next Doom. Okay, id Software legendary pioneering first-person shooter franchise is now wholly owned by Microsoft, and many have been probably wondering whether or not the next installment will also held off competing platforms. Now, perhaps yesteryear, but Microsoft supporting PlayStation more than ever before, I think Doom would be a likely candidate here. Doom Year Zero leaked as part of the FTC snafu last summer, and while there's no real hints exactly what could be beyond the title, I imagine it would be some prequel or of sorts. Or perhaps some of the time travel shenanigans baked in. Now, Doom is already a prolific franchise on PlayStation with every single title available to play. If there was one first-party multi-platform to expect from the show, it would be that one. Yeah, but would that be a surprise that Doom, that's been on the platforms all this time, is not going to be on the platform like it was in the past? I don't know. I don't think so, personally. And what about the most retroactive ports like Sea of Thieves or Hi-Fi Rush? I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility that they could also see some Microsoft older games head to PlayStation as well. Microsoft is eager to improve its gaming margins after the gargantuan $72 billion plus acquisition of Activision Blizzard, and bringing across additional games from the firm's back catalog, and probably the easy way to make some extra cash to keep the internal studios cash flow positive. Okay, Microsoft's gamble here is that Xbox will continue to sell the desirable even without the exclusives. Many are skeptical, including myself, he says, Jez Gordon says, but perhaps the skepticism will be proven unfound in the coming years. In any case, CEO Phil Spencer said previously in the last 4-game experiment, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, Pentiment, and Grounded wasn't a guarantee, and we see more coming across. But I'm not sure anyone believed that and stopped those at those 4. What remains to be seen is how Microsoft positions all of this. Will Microsoft mention PlayStation at this show? In years past, companies did everything they could to avoid mentioning each other, and there's no evidence that Sony has any plans whatsoever to bring the event to service. Titles like Helldivers 2 to Xbox. I said this on Lono's podcast. I don't think they mention PlayStation by name. If they say it, it'll be like on other platforms. I don't think they say it by name, but I could be wrong, right? And I'll admit when I'm wrong, okay? But I don't think they'll say it by name. Microsoft may also be falling into a trap of short-term thinking here. Without good messaging, Microsoft's positioning has potential to hollow the support of the remains of hardware ecosystem. He says, speaking of which we expect to see hardware teases at this show. He says, in years past, Microsoft has generally not revealed hardware at E3 season summer showcase. Perhaps the most you can also expect is a vague tease, but we also already have a picture of what the next Xbox looks like at some degree. It'll be a device closer to Windows than ever, with the Xbox CEO Phil Spencer teasing that their desire to bring third-party Windows game stores like Epic to Xbox will all the economics of it to work. It remains to be seen, but I think it's unlikely we'll find out at this show. He says, I suspect a lot of interviews and discourse during the week revolve around Xbox overreaching strategy without exclusives, okay, and how the hardware will sell. Also, developers invest Xbox future if Microsoft isn't competing there, and so on. There's also a matter of Microsoft recent studio closures like Tango, and how it was also widening examination into Microsoft's operations. It also has to become a cliche of headlines, okay, that they read along the lines of Xbox's most important showcase ever, like every year is a do-to-die moment for Xbox. And the reality is, of course, very different. Xbox has a higher monthly active console users than ever, according to them. They also report the highest gaming revenue that they ever had in the CES, even before the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. And yet still, significant challenges remain over Xbox and the games industry in general, as hiring sprees during the pandemic has forced the big platform holders to reprioritize the game's time hours shrink. The widespread rumors of Xbox Game Pass will get price increase, and maybe the functionality shifts as Microsoft figures out what kind of impact Call of Duty will have when it enters the subscription. He says, so what do you want to see? There's still a ton of other things likely to see the event and haven't mentioned without making the article into a novel. The Starfield Shattered Space DLC expansion is undoubtedly going to get its debut, as Bethesda looks to fill the gaps in with the sci-fi RPG with grounded vehicles and other much wanted features. He says, I suspect it also see Diablo 4's expansion, which is most likely going to happen, and get some gameplay footage potentially. And since there's no BlizzCon this year, we could also get a glimpse of World of Warcraft: The War Within to give in what launching some of the towards the end of the summer. We're also, of course, getting the Call of Duty Black Ops reveal, which is expected to set during the Gulf War. Microsoft also landed the marketing deals to some major upcoming third-party titles, and at least gameplay debut that brings the Solstice to what weary fan base. I personally think we get something, if they're going to talk about Steam or some sort of partnership, I think they're going to talk about World of Warcraft, but I think they're going to bring World of Warcraft to PC Game Pass Ultimate. I think they're going to include World of Warcraft into Game Pass. That'll be my future moment. Like I called Transformers 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, when they talked about it at the Video Game Award show. It wasn't mentioned. I said they're going to show it this year. They did. This will be my moment here where I think World of Warcraft gets announced that it's coming to PC Game Pass. Okay, it'll be a part of it. We'll see, though. There's also always potential of total surprises, too. I've heard about some nostalgic announcements that should also chase away the blues of classic Xbox 360 RPG fans. Microsoft also has Killer Instinct developer Iron Galaxy back on board, working on the franchise again, and perhaps we see some other classic games revisited. And our big new Activision-aligned backwards compatibility drop. People have been holding out hopes for Xbox 360 classics like Prototype, Singularity, or Arrive on the platform as well. Jez here says, as for me, I would be honest to just like to see Microsoft throw some reassurance to the core fans who are confused and rightfully concerned about the direction and the operation over the past few months. I would like to see some support from longtime holdouts like Square Enix, who have spoken about the intents of support Xbox more in the future, and I want to see expansions and investments in service games. I enjoy from Fallout 76 to World of Warcraft. I honestly love to see some of the Fallout announcements, literally anything given on the TV, as really renewed interest in this franchise. And even if it Fallout 5 logo, I'd be pretty content with that one. Oh, I don't want to see just a logo like they did with Metroid. It was a Nintendo thing like 5 years ago. He says, I'm incredibly confident in the quality of the upcoming slate, and indeed the high-quality games that gets fans excited and talking about doubtless cut through the gloom. Strong showings from Microsoft near-term slate, exciting hints of long-term, and something I also wholly expect, Now, the post-pandemic, with many of Microsoft's previous acquisitions now more fully integrated. This could also be Microsoft's best ever Xbox showcase for raw gaming content. I think the last couple of shows that they've done have been actually pretty damn good. They, I think, knocked it out of the park the last couple of showcases, because all they've done was show like actual gameplay from the games that they're making. So we'll see. I think they continue with that. I don't know if they announce any kind of new system, like Jez said. I don't really think they do it at E3. Maybe they do mention, maybe not at the showcase itself, but maybe afterwards. I think that Keystone is going to be a big component in the future. I'm still betting on that. I feel like the way the direction that Microsoft's going and what they want to do with the cloud gaming and the games they want to get out to more people, I don't think people want to spend $500 on a box. But I do think they want to play games. And if they can get games in people's hands easily with a Keystone, if you want to call it a Chrome, if you want to call it an Apple TV, if you want to call it a Fire Stick, whatever it is, that you hook up to your television set that's not a smart TV or regular TV, or even if it is a smart TV, get full access to your Game Pass or your Microsoft account through that device. I think that's a win for them in the future, right? And as far as the games, I do think we see Fable. I do think we see a mention of Gears 6. Again, I think these are far off, though. I still don't think we get Fable this year. I think we get Fable next year, late next year. I think we get Gears 6 maybe 2 years from now, but they show something now. So we're talking like 2026 by the time we get Gears 6. I don't know. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think about Microsoft and what they have to do to show to get people excited? As a gamer, I don't need Microsoft to get me excited. As a gamer, I just want game companies to show me games that are coming out sometime in the future that to get excited about. These are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, please make sure you check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Is that Ubisoft? Did I say Square? Ubisoft is Beyond Good and Evil? Krebsy? I thought it was Square Enix. Oh, it is Ubisoft. It is Ubisoft. You are correct. Wait a minute. I'm confused. Oh, it is Ubisoft. Yeah, it is Ubisoft. Did I say Square? But then I said it's like a Skull and Bones. I did say Square, but then I said it's like another Ubisoft Skull and Bones. Isn't that what I said? Next Horizon better be in Japan. I've been waiting long enough. What about the next Horizons in Japan, but they all have just American-made cars? Would that be okay, Kylo? It's like muscle cars. Is Fable past its time, though? Is it actually an IP that still has charm? And will it make it stand out apart from, let's say, the next Hogwarts Legacy game? I don't think Fable's past its time. I think Fable could come back. I mean, it all depends on what type of game they make it. You know what I mean? If they keep it true to what the other Fables were, but then they kind of like bring it up to the next level. And what I mean by that is like, if you're talking about like Grand Theft Auto, right? And I'm not comparing it to 1-to-1. What I'm saying is the change from what Grand Theft Auto top-down was to what Grand Theft Auto became, right, is like two different things. Still, the core of that game is still there. Like top-down Grand Theft Auto is the same game that you're playing now. It's just that you had top-down before, right? Fable was this like charming game, and it was really good. But what are they going to do, right? Like obviously, it's been a long time. Fable 1, 2, and 3 are like here. And then this has to at least be there and then add to it, right? So there's a lot of riding on Fable, but at the same time, it's coming from the people that made Forza Horizon. And I'm a little worried by Fable because of people that have never made a game like that before. It could be good. Forza Horizon's a beautiful game. Could you imagine a world that they're building, but with Fable? I think the biggest criticism that Fable has gotten so far for what we've seen is the girl they showed, which you're like, what the hell is that? Okay, and yes, in Fable you get to make your own character, but still, why would you choose to show an ugly girl as the promotional material, right? Let's see. When's the last time, MGene says, when's the last time Microsoft released a AAA exclusive with a 90-plus Metacritic? I guess exclusive talk is useless at this point, though. My thing that I talk about, Gene, is I don't think they're looking for a 90 in any of their games because of Game Pass, right? I think, and I've said this, and they haven't said this, but this is what I've said. I said, what does it cost to get a game into the 90s, right? Meaning, if I hire someone that's a great artist, it's going to cost me more than if I hire a person off the side of the street and say, hey, can you draw me a picture, right? If a person that's spending $350 million on a video game, and that gets me a 90 to a 92, okay? But I could spend $200 million on a video game and get an 80 to an 89, okay? Like, within the... Let's just say, yeah, an 80 to an 89. I'll give that 9-point spread, okay? Is it worth spending an additional $150 million to get that extra point or two to get a 90, 91, 92? Do you know what I mean? So to say that when's the last time they had a AAA game to hit the 90s? I don't think you got to hit the 90s, especially when they're making Game Pass where it's such a value. Do you need 90s to bring people to Game Pass? Or do you put a bunch of 80s, mid-80s on Game Pass with the value? I don't know. For the cost that you're spending on the game and what you're bringing back in, they got to keep their costs low, right? They got to keep their costs low because they're still making a crap ton of money, right? They're making almost $600 million a month. And again, this is my thought process, right? If it costs me $300 million to get a 90 to put a game on Game Pass, but I can do an 89 for 200. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't care. I just want Japan. They're afraid to do it because no other setting can top Japan and car culture there. Eclipse says, as long as there is a British humor, it still doesn't have it, then no, it's just another generic open world RPG. Yeah, it does. It definitely has to have that British humor, Eclipse, for Fable. Definitely has to have it. Paul says, Playground did hire ex-Lionhead staff. So that's something. Well, there you go. Maybe they're trying to get that core. Okay, so you understand what I'm saying, Gene, right? Like, if I could get a deal, right? Let's do a house analogy here. Let's do a house analogy. I'm trying to tile my bathroom, okay? If I can get marble, okay, in my bathroom, it's going to cost a pretty penny, okay? But if I can get something that looks like marble to put in my bathroom, when people come in and go, wow, that's really nice, without spending the price of marble, right? But still look good, what would you do? Would you spend overpriced to someone to go in your bathroom and go, hey, man, that's a really nice bathroom, right? Or do you go cheaper product and labor and still get a really nice look and go, wow, that's really nice. And people think it is what it is, but it really isn't, right? Forza Horizon set in Japan would be awful. The roads suck, as it's also too small, meaning you wouldn't have big trucks, wider super trucks. I mean, I guess Japan's a big, like, there's a lot of different roads. I don't know if you're just thinking about the city, Krebsy. I mean, I think it could be pretty cool. I mean, I'm not going to argue the point here. But Celebrate just released an update, added boss rush challenge, and new outfits. Ooh. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the whole cold, like Japan is this giant, I mean, small, but still big enough in video game sense. The terrain and stuff would be awesome to drive through. Like if you played Forza Horizon, I'm barely on the roads. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm barely on the roads. And they have small little villages and stuff in Horizon now with small little cobblestone roads and little alleyways and stuff. Microsoft is already spending less and releasing incomplete games like Redfall. Now, see, Redfall is a outlier right now, right? Because we know the story behind Redfall, where Redfall was already in development before Microsoft purchased them, and they wanted to be shut down or stop working on Redfall, and they thought when Microsoft bought them that they would get closed down. So to say that Microsoft is already spending less and Redfall came out, I mean, yes, that's a debacle, but I don't think that's the standard. That's like bringing up something like, it's like bringing up something when a kid did something at a birthday party, right? And then like 20 years later, you still keep bringing it up. You're like, hey, remember that time you shit on the birthday cake at the birthday party? Be like, dude, I was 5. You know what I mean? Right? Be like, well, every birthday we bring it up. Every birthday we bring it up. Forza wasn't... You're comparing Redfall with Forza. Forza was nowhere near Redfall. Redfall was literally a broken, buggy, unfinished game. Forza was not. Hellblade 2 is not. Halo Infinite is not. Yes, they came out... Halo came out incomplete, but it's a better game. Redfall was literally broke when it came out. Forza Motorsports that came out was a good game. People are complaining about the grass as you're going like 100 miles an hour. Like, oh, look at that grass. It really looks blurry. Like, Redfall's 100% a shitty game. Here. Let me get this up and running here. Let me see. And then you wanted Redfall, right? Redfall. Okay. So this is you being disingenuous, Krebsy, right? Because here's Hellblade in 81. Okay? Forza Motorsports in 84. This doesn't mean these games are bad in any way, shape, or form. Okay? Halo Infinite's in 87. And Redfall's of 56. Okay? To compare Hellblade, Forza, and Halo Infinite to Redfall is disingenuous. You're not comparing anything. I'm listening to games and weren't complete at launch. But there's a difference between those games. Okay? There's a difference between those games and Redfall. Great. CD Projekt Red also put out a broken, unbuggy game, right? Cyberpunk, right? As much as people liked it, EA put out games that were unfinished, broken, buggy, but Battlefield and Cyberpunk, even as bad as they are, fundamentally are still better games than what Redfall was. Redfall shouldn't have been released. Like, the code was broke where literally the AI didn't even respond. Go on, Sin. And again, when Phil Spencer talks about the 80, right, in their metric score, whatever they want to talk about, it seems like all of these games are exactly where he's talking about, except Redfall. Hellblade hit that 81 mark. Forza hit that 84 mark. 87 for Halo Infinite. Redfall, 56. Now, again, this goes back to what Gene asked. You know, when's the last time I had a 90 game? I don't think they want a 90 game because of what their business sense is. Their business is Game Pass. And adding money to games to overbloat the account, overblow the budget, to then put it on Game Pass where they know they're not going to make the money because, in my own words, if you put a game out there for $10, you got to sell, if it was $1 million, right? You got to sell 100,000 copies. But if you put it on Game Pass, it's got to sell 3 times or 4 times the amount that it would sell for to get people to come to Game Pass, right? So now if you add $30, if you add the $40, if you add the $50, you have to have times. There's a times behind that. Consumer here, I don't care why it's broke, buggy, or unfinished. Correct. I just want a complete game. If you streamline just the story, Cyberpunk wasn't bad per se. The open world was full of unfinished stuff. Exactly, PL. My thing is, always on this channel, I hate that games come out broke, buggy, and unfinished. What we're talking about here, and then Krebsy bringing up, you know, Forza Hellblade 2, we were talking about the Metacritic score, not Metacritic, but the internal critic score of what their internal scoring system they have. That, and again, this is what I believe, that if they spend $300 million, does that get them above a 90? Or if they spend $100 million less, and they can still get between an 80 and an 85, or an 80 and 89, is that better using their money that way instead of spending an additional $100 million on something like that? All right, we got a half hour. I really don't care about XDefiant, but I'll read about it. Just yet another game. Yet another game with server issues. I think this is like hamburgers and hot dogs and French fries, right? It just always happens, no matter what game, right? You have servers on it. It's always going to have shitty servers when it launches because they just don't want to buy enough server space for these games, right? So the next story we're going to talk about is XDefiant servers plagued with problems at launch, which is not really a surprise, right? Insert game here. Okay, if you like what I do here, we cover news stories, have conversations. I give you my thoughts and opinions on this stuff. If you like to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. So XDefiant servers plagued with problems at launch. Okay. After numerous delays and hiccups surrounding its development, Ubisoft's free-to-play shooter XDefiant is finally available for everyone. Unfortunately, XDefiant servers have seamlessly been plagued by problems causing players to not be able to play. Almost immediately after the game went live, players began to take social media to complain about not being able to get into a match. He says, there's TF is everyone, one user said. He said, another having issues in finding game, rip. The problems led to game's official Twitter account making a statement on the matter. He says, we're aware of some players are unable to join the game. Please bear with us as we look into the servers and matchmaking, the developer said. Okay, so this is some of the pictures they're showing on Twitter. It says these lobbies are going crazy, right? Now, Even game head Mark Rubin made a post commenting on the servers. He says, quote, matchmaking servers go boom, he said. And we're working on it. Insider Gamer has also reached out to Ubisoft to see if there's any timetable for the fix or if there was specific issues causing players not to be able to connect. Should respond to be received. The story will also be updated accordingly. Well, that's nice of a gaming insider doing their job. For what it's worth, however, XDefiant is the second most popular game being streamed on Twitch as of publishing. The only game ahead of it is Grand Theft Auto 5. Jesus Christ. Seriously? So, I ask you, chat, have you guys tried XDefiant? Did you have server issues? Now, obviously, I think the server issues, I hope it doesn't have to do with any kind of sign-in process with PlayStation Network or Xbox, because that would be funny, wouldn't it? Who makes... It's Ubisoft, right? Do you have to make an Ubisoft account to play this? Do you have to make an Ubisoft account to play XDefiant? Anybody? Anybody? That would be hilarious. If they're like, yeah, we had to get rid of the sign-in process of Ubisoft because I did at the beginning, the first, 3 hours, then it got fixed. I wonder if that is because they didn't have enough servers, Eclipse, and they fixed it, or if they actually have massive problems happening on the back end. PL says, I tried Halo Infinite multiplayer and left and never came back. I tried it when it first came out. I enjoyed it, but it was missing something. Gene says, won't touch the Ubisoft stink unless it's a new Star Wars game coming up. I like certain games that Ubisoft makes. I like Massive. I think Massive makes good games for Ubisoft. And that's why I'm excited for the Star Wars game. I have to play it out of the Ubisoft launcher. Oh, if you play it with the Ubisoft launcher, it crashes. If you play it in the Ubisoft launcher, wait. So if you play it in the launcher, it crashes. So you have to play it outside of the launcher. I'm hearing mixed things. I watched a bunch of people talk about their time playing XDefiant, and they said they had fun, but they're not going back, which doesn't mean you had fun. Do you know what I mean? Think about when Helldivers 2 came out. When Helldivers 2 came out, people were excited. They couldn't stop playing. They're like, I'm having fun, man. People are like, I'm having fun with XDefiant, but, a couple hours, I'm good. That's not fun. That's... you're just basing. You're like, yeah, it's good, but right. If you like the shit, you'll return. People, I swear to God, what's the guy's name from Kind of Funny? Mikey said that, yeah, he played it for a couple hours. He really enjoyed it. He says, but he's not going to go back anytime soon. Then he talked about Marvel Rivals, and he was like, yeah, I can't wait for that to come out. I want to go back. I can't wait for it to come out. So you can't tell me you had fun in XDefiant if you're like, I'll play anything else. And if nothing else is going on, then maybe I'll come back to XDefiant. Eclipse says, I mean, it's fun, but it's like old school Call of Duty. You only want to play it that late 2 hour to the day. But is that good or bad, Eclipse? I'm asking, is that good or bad that you're like, it's 2 hours and I put it down and done? I guess on one hand, it could be good. PL says, for what I hear, the game seems to still be in beta. Makoki says, the fun comes from playing with friends, but the game is shallow and unoriginal. Rebsy says, this is doing well on Twitch till the next COD releases. I don't even think it lasts that long. I think within 2 weeks, we don't even hear about this game anymore. Doc says, when you say Doc, Paul, you're talking about Dr. Disrespect? Doc said the same. Why would I play this again? Yeah, it doesn't... like I said, I watched some footage, and it does look like Like, if I didn't know I clicked on XDefiant, I just watched it, I went like, oh, is this Call of Duty? Like, that's what I would think I'm watching. Right? It does feel like Call of Duty, old Call of Duty, as Eclipse is saying. But nothing about it. You know what? I had a video I did. I don't even remember what it was about. But I remember doing a video. Let's see. I forget what I talked about it. I remember talking about it. It was a couple months ago. I might have deleted it. I'll be honest, because I don't think it did very good. I don't think it did good in the algorithm. Let me see. I remember making a thumbnail for it. Yeah, I think I deleted it. That's RoboCop. Oh, wait. Here we go. No, I got it. I have no idea. It was XDefiant is still delayed. Let me see what I talk about here. Let's see what I talk about here. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 30NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Ubisoft's Call of Duty rival XDefiant is delayed. This came back 7 months ago. 7 months ago. The article here. If you like this, please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. Let's buy it. Now, XDefiant was supposed to be this, like, latest greatest thing. Okay? People were hyping it up as the next Call of Duty, and it might as well, it might be. Okay? But the message from XDefiant team, now, they tried to get an earlier beta out earlier in the year, and they couldn't because... Did I lose weight? I think I lost weight. Do I look the same? And Xbox... I look younger now. Denied it from the quality testing or whatever, and then it didn't make it. And then they were trying to push for October. I think it's because I moisturize now. And then here we are. Knock, knock. We're on October. So the message from XDefiant team says, thank you to everyone that... All right, let's fast forward here. What do I say? Before preseason. For season out, but the preseason is the game releasing. Just test your game, fix your game, figure it out. Do not release it. Okay? So it says, Ubisoft has delayed XDefiant indefinitely after a series of playtests unearthed issues, and development team wants... Yeah, this is Multiverse 30. This is 30 from a different universe. To work and improve before launch. And I respect that. But you got yourself in this situation anyway. You keep hyping the game up. You're like, well, it's coming out in July. Well, it's coming out in August. Coming out in September. Coming out in October. Just work on your game. So in recent public test sections, it says that game experiences need to be addressed prior to release of XDefiant's preseason, a statement published on the Twitter. XDefiant is Ubisoft's San Francisco. Now, in a statement published or clunkier, so close, what do I say? Just join the lemmings. Okay. These are strong words, or he can stand out, or he can just join the lemmings. Okay? Now, this is the time that the executive producer, Ruben, should make and choose. Mark Ruben, you'll never see my video, but if you do see my video, listen to your gut feeling. Don't chase the money. The money will come. Just make the game. Okay? Just make the game. Do not chase the money. The money will come to you if you make a game. Okay? He says, I also want to point out that all the feedback is not only extremely welcome, but crucial into our goal, making it blah, blah, blah. Movement brought it up to our game that is better for everyone. Our intent for this game is with the community. So keep an eye on the future updates. And I'm torn on both ends, right? I'm torn on both ends because, again, Mark Rubin can make the choice of making this game not like all the other games we've been getting where it's broke, buggy, unfinished. Cyberpunk 2077 comes to mind. The developer literally called out other developers saying, we're not going to release a game that's broken, buggy like those guys. And then they did. And they still harmed themselves, even though they made a lot of money back. With a game like this, everyone wants to come out and be the Destiny killer. Everyone wants to come out and be the Call of Duty killer. I don't know if XDefiant's going to do that. But I can guarantee you're not going to do that if you come out and it's just yet another game that's like those other games that don't fix their stuff. It comes out broke, buggy, connection issues, server issues, gunplay feels off. Work on your game, fix your game, test it, It's like when you're building something. We're not going to do a food analogy today. We're going to do a building analogy today, right? You measure and you measure again. And cut once. You don't want to screw it up because once you cut that wood, okay, you're stuck with that piece of shit wood that you can't use because you didn't measure correctly. And if they really want this to be a Call of Duty competitor, I won't say a killer, and make sure you get this game flushed out, working well, and then release it. Because if it is that game, that's going to be that Call of Duty callback where everyone loved that old school arcade and Call of Duty's kind of lost their way in it. They just evolved into a different thing. Then do that. Don't release it early. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section. Okay, so basically, I did say they're going to have server issues. So, didn't say much about it. There was another video I had. I think it didn't do very well. Yeah, this one only has 162 views. Didn't do very well. That was 7 months ago. Yeah, standing definitely does help. There was another video that we did. They've had major issues with this game up to this point, so who knows? Good luck to XDefiant. See if it can find the player base it wants to find within all these other PvP games that are free to play and whatnot. What have you done for me lately? Type of stuff, right? Like, why do I want to play XDefiant if I can play CS:GO? Why do I want to play XDefiant if I can play Halo PvP? Why do I want to play XDefiant if I can play Call of Duty, Battlefield, Fortnite? You know what I mean? Like, why am I going to stop playing this game to go play your game? Why am I going to stop playing if I have Tarkov? Why am I going to stop playing all these other games to go play your samey type of game? Do you know what I mean? Like, why do I want to play your game? What makes your game better than those games? Did you talk about the Warhammer stuff already? I didn't even know there was Warhammer stuff to talk about. Warhammer Skulls Festival of Video Games. You talking about that? Warhammer Skulls Showcase 2024. What is this, Mo? I hope the playtest goes smooth so we can get a release. You mean of XDefiant that's full launched? I wouldn't pay $250 to play Tarkov. I'm just saying, right? There's people that, you know, why am I playing XDefiant if my time's being spent better in other games? That's all I'm saying, Krebsy. It showed some other games in tabletop. Yeah, I won't watch that now because I don't know exactly what it is. Yeah, we'll do this last story here, which is PlayStation Executive. PlayStation Executive predicts focus will shift from graphics to immersive narratives. Is this really a prediction? Isn't that what PlayStation games are? And this is not a dig on them, right? But isn't that what PlayStation games are? God of War, Horizon, Last of Us, right? Spider-Man. They're more... I mean, yeah, the graphics are good, don't get me wrong. But it's more of an immersive narrative game, isn't it? Uncharted. No? That's what they were doing anyway. All right, so this comes from VGC, which is not owned by IGN. Okay. Well, actually, is it VG? Oh, VG247. Video Games 24/7 is owned by them, but VGC is not. At least I don't think it is. All right, so PlayStation exec predicts focus will shift from graphics to immersive narratives. Telltale's not really immersive narrative, though. I mean, kind of, I guess, Jones, you're not wrong. I would say it's like choose your own adventure type of thing. Wouldn't say it's super immersive, though. So technology advancements will enhance emotional depth in games over the next decade. Okay. So a top PlayStation executive has predicted that technology advancements in gaming will see a focus shift from graphics or visuals to immersive narratives over the coming decade. So you think this is where like Amy Hennig's going with the 1943 Rise of Hydra? Maybe it's more of an immersive narrative type of thing. I mean, we talked about how games are trying to be more broad to other people, that people that are not hardcore gamers, and they just want them to buy the game because it's more like a movie type of game. So let's see. Sony used to be a corporate strategy meeting on Thursday to present its creative entertainment vision, which it describes as the long-term vision for where it wants to be in 10 years with an eye towards future technology advancements. In an interview published and coincide with today's event, Ashad Quinzelbash, the head of PlayStation Productions and head of product and PlayStation Studios, was asked to provide a prediction for where gaming's heading. He says, quote, "In terms of gaming's future, he says, I envision games becoming more personalized due to advanced in technology and AI enabling customization experiences for each player," he said. Well, that'd be interesting, right? Because how would that work, right? He says, more personalized due to advance in technology. So I'm trying to think, just based off of that quote, is he talking like my Google search is different than your Google search, right? Like if I look up something on Amazon, all of a sudden it starts to promote other things of that sort on Amazon or in Google, right? If we talk right now and say something like, I like t-shirts, all of a sudden now you're going to get t-shirt ads inside Twitter. You're welcome, okay? Or on your Google thing or on Amazon, okay? So I wonder if games in the future, based on what he's saying, if he means that they make one game, but it changes based on the person that's purchasing it, right? People want to see themselves inside the game. So I wonder in the future, okay, based on what he's saying, right? Advanced technology and AI enabling customized experiences for each player, meaning that I'm a straight white man. Does that mean all my guys will be straight white men playing the game? And if you're a lesbian or if you're a transgender person, are all your things going to be towards you because the AI knows what you are? Be interesting. Okay. I wouldn't like it because I like being diverse. I like playing different games with different protagonists and antagonists and different stories. I just want the story to be story, right? Not pushed down, but cool for the customization, right? He says, I'll continue that. He says, moreover, technology advancements will enhance emotional depth in games by allowing characters to be much more emotive and expressive, fostering more storytelling. So more facial features, more. So when they're sad, like in Starfield, you won't get guys like this. Hey, thanks for helping me. They'll be like, oh, so much for helping me. You know what I mean? They'll be more in depth for emotion wise. That'd be pretty interesting as well. Okay, the third quote, he says, that's going to help a whole generation of creators be able to just create so much more emotion in the stories. The focus is going to shift from graphics for visual immersion narratives and resonate long after the controller is set down. So I wonder if what we just saw, and again, this is so totally speculative on my end, because I didn't play Hellblade 1. I didn't play Hellblade 2. Just what's around what's happening with Hellblade 2 right now, right? They're saying it's the most visually stunning game they've seen on Xbox, but they've also said it's really short. I wonder if that's what we're going to get from now on. I wonder if games are no longer going to be this, and I'm not saying all games. I'm saying like these single-player games. I wonder instead of, if it's not an open-world game, if it's just a single-player immersive game, instead of getting an 8 to 15-hour game, you're getting 5 to 8 hours. And the reason for this is not only, one, because of cost would come down, and then they would still be able to charge a decent price. Hellblade's what, $50? Or you can get it on Game Pass. Or do they put more time into it, just like I said earlier in the show, where how much does $300 million get you for a Metacritic score? How much does this get you, right? $50 million for Hellblade 2, and it's scored an 81, right? So what does it get you? If I can spend 50 mil to get an 81, why do I need to spend 200 to get an 81 type of thing? You know what I mean? So where does this mean graphically? Graphically, it's still good looking, but it's a shorter game. So are we going to get shorter games in the future? Let me know in the comment section down below. He goes on to say, who's tasked with transforming PlayStation gaming brands into global entertainment franchises, also said, AI will enable the creation of more personalized experiences and meaningful stories. This kind of boggles my mind with the AI will enable creation to give more experiences and meaningful stories. You would think that the person that lived experience, right? Like, young people think they've experienced everything and they have all the knowledge in the world, but they really don't. They haven't experienced shit in life. And this is why older people in life, when they write books and read books, they have experience behind it. And when they talk about something, right? You might have experienced a car crash once, but someone else that was a stunt driver experienced 15, 20 car crashes. So if someone's talking about car crashes and what it does to you, do you want the person that got in one car crash and their experience, or a person that's been in 25 car crashes and they've survived and they give you their experience, right? I think it would be more personalized experiences and whatnot with someone that actually did the things than AI who's being told these things because it's in the database or whatnot. I don't know. That's just me. Okay. He says, quote, for instance, an NPC, a non-playable character in games, could interact with players based on their actions, making it feel more personal. You could do that now. I mean, the coding of that would be absolutely phenomenal because it doesn't know what you're going to do. I could shoot you in the face. I could stab you with a knife. I could be super kind to you. I could throw, in a Bethesda game, I could take a potato and throw it at your head, and then all of a sudden the NPC would be like, why are you throwing a potato at my head? We've already seen that already with the AI that's put in there. But you have to feed it all the different interactions that could possibly happen within that game. If it's automatically randomly generated based on what's happening, that'd be pretty interesting. That would be cool. That would bring the RPG model up to the next level if it does that, right? So here it says, it's also important for younger Gen Z and Gen Alpha audiences who are the first generation that grew up digitally and are also looking for personalization across everything, as well as looking for experiences to have more meaning. In another interview published alongside Sony's strategic meeting today, Uncharted 4 and Last of Us creative director Neil Druckmann said that that Naughty Dog's next title could be refined mainstream perception of gaming. Okay, so this part here where he's talking about that Gen Zers and Gen Alpha audiences are looking, they're the first generation for digitally, are looking for more personalization across everything. I don't know if they know this, but in games like Mass Effect or even Baldur's Gate 3, you can customize the character and make the character that you want. Starfield, I can make the character that I want. If I want to be a fat white guy, if I want to be a skinny white guy, if I want to be a girl, right? If I want to be a really weird looking I can make myself look like that. Okay, I don't know if Gen Zers and Gen Alpha audiences know that there's customization, and it's been in video games for decades now, where you can make the character that you want, especially in a lot of open world games. I find it weird that everyone has to have see themselves in the games. And again, I get it's a personal thing. Okay, I just think it's weird. Like in my Division 2 character is a girl. I don't identify as a girl. I just want to look at a girl. Right? There's no thought process in there. I'm just like, I'm going to make a girl. Right? That was it. Right? My Starfield character, I made Jack Burton. I made him look like Jack Burton. Okay? My baseball game, I didn't make him look like me. I made it Jack Burton. It's more like a running joke type of thing. Right? I can make it anybody I want. I don't need to see myself in a video game. I just kind of put myself, my morals, my thought process of, in Mass Effect, if I'm a good person, I don't want to hurt anybody in the game, so I do a playthrough where I'm not hurting anybody. But then there's a playthrough I go through that I want to be as evil as possible, and I send everyone in to die, right? Or I don't care about someone. That's just role-playing, okay? That's what it is, and I'm confused by how Gen Zers and Gen Alphas just need to see themselves constantly in the game. It's just weird to me. But these are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think of this? Do you think that games are going to be less visual stunning and more immersive, where it's also going to be a shorter game? Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you looking forward to AI making it customizable around you to feel more immersive for your personal taste in a game, right? I don't like living in a bubble, right? Like, I watch dramas, I watch comedies, I watch action, okay? If it's always going towards me and it knows I like drama, is it always going to give me a drama? because that would get really boring really fast. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, please make sure you check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. I was hoping for a shift from graphics to better gameplay features. Kind of like Heavy Rain, Detroit Becomes Human, or more Hellblade 2. Titan says Hellblade 2 is more about graphics than stories, so not what Sony wants. Sarge says yes, it will, and yes, it does. Sarge also says, so if it's visually stunning, it's always short. I have heard the argument before. You know how many times we've heard this, right, bro? Oh yeah, well it's getting harder and harder, whatever. Game making is hard. Dave Rose says the argument is false though. Stellar Blade is visually gorgeous and it's 25 to 30 hour game. Sure, Rose, but the conversation, what he's saying in the future, right? He's saying in the future, it's going to be less graphics and more immersive narratives, but it's also going to be run by AI. So we're saying, my question is games going to get shorter, right? Like, I know you're talking about a specific game right now, okay? But like Call of Duty is shorter for their campaign, right? There are certain games that are 10, 12, 15, 20-hour games, and there's other games that are like 5-hour games. So my question is, are they going to make shorter games in the future? You got to remember, what about in the future where you're actually never buying games anymore and it's all on a streaming service? It's not just Game Pass. I'm talking about Amazon Luna. If Google comes back out with their what the hell was their game? Stadia, right? Maybe they come out with Stadia 2. Maybe PlayStation now puts it on PlayStation Plus. Xbox is all on Game Pass, right? If you're not buying games anymore, well, then they can make the length of the game as much as they want because you're paying a small, more valued game. I'm definitely all for shorter games. I think 15 to 20 hours is a sweet spot. Tired of the 60-plus hour games? Looking at you, Final Fantasy Rebirth. Thrust, I kind of agree with you on certain games. Like, if I'm really interested in it, I'll put, like, hundreds of hours in. But other games, I'm almost overwhelmed because I know if to put time in this game, I got to put a minimum of 25 to 30 hours in. And I'm like, eh. Krebsy says Forbidden West does have some good graphics, and it was cross-gen game. I agree, Captain. I have a limited time for game now. 25 to 30 hours is a sweet spot for me. Yeah, I kind of like I'm okay with Marvel's Avengers being at 15 to 20 hours. You know what I mean? A 20-hour game isn't short. No, but it's a lot shorter than a 100-hour game. Dave says, I guess time will tell with that one. Yeah, obviously, he said 10 years from now. So I'm just saying, are they going to make games shorter? That's all. It's just not saying they are, just having a conversation. I don't understand how less graphic equals more immersive story. I think the point of it, Jones, is that graphics take time to make, and instead of taking the time to make it more visually stunning, that they can tell a story like Hades compared to, like, even though it's stunning looking, right? You could tell a good story with the graphics like that instead of telling a story with, Hellblade story graphics or Stellar Blade's graphics, right? You could do Minecraft and tell a story where it's not graphically demanding, so they can spend more time on actually immersive storytelling than the actual graphic part. I think that's what he's saying. Graphics is like third or fourth in importance of the game. Hellblade 2 could be 5 hours if the story was better and better paced. Gene says, only games I can put 100 hours of hours is Souls. See, I like the open world, like Fallout 76, Destiny, Division. I put hundreds of hours in those games. Thousands in some of them. Same, Rose. I'm like, that's going to be a 60-hour game. I'm like, nah. I want more immersive mechanics. Fuck the story. See, I like story. To me, story and gameplay are like switchable for me. I don't care about graphics. Graphics to me have no bearing on if I like a game or don't like a game, right? But if you tell me a good story and it has good gameplay, and you could swap those two anytime. It all depends, right? Gameplay could be first and story could be second, or story could be first and gameplay could be second, right? I need a good story on certain things. Unless I'm playing like Farm Simulator, right? Farm Simulator has no story. I'm a farmer. I need to make my farm and make money, right? Like, I don't need stories in all my games. I can enjoy a game without story. That's why I'm saying gameplay would be the number one type of thing. But story and gameplay are intertwinable to me. Or interchangeable, I guess? Not intertwinable. Well, I guess they are the same. Immersive mechanics take even more time than graphics. Yeah, but I would be okay with them taking more time for mechanics than graphics. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm okay if it looks like Minecraft, but it also has really cool, like, melee combat. Yeah, graphics I don't care about. I can get past the graphics if the gameplay and the story are good. I think the pivot to story is to sell sequels like MCU. I think the pivot is story, which is kind of funny, the MCU, because they're terrible at telling stories right now, Titan. But I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, the thread along the franchise. Like, go back to Grand Theft Auto, like I said before. I love the old Grand Theft Auto top-down, that graphics, okay? And just what you're doing in that game. I love that game, right? And then when it went it was more immersive. But if you look at Grand Theft Auto graphics of Grand Theft Auto 3, okay, compared to what Grand Theft Auto is now in 5, the graphics weren't phenomenal. I mean, I guess back then they are, but the story is what was good there. Right? The mechanics is what was good there. What you could do in the world was better than the graphics that you were playing. Vice City, same thing. Dolphin says, people will rage when Captain America and Black Panther game comes out like Hellblade. I think based on what Amy Hennig said, Dolphin, I do believe that she said in an interview that half the people don't even finish games, right? Well, they want people to be more immersive because a lot of people don't like playing games. They just want the gaming format where they can control the character and it's more immersive and storytelling. That's what it sounds like Captain America is going to be. Like, there's going to be combat in the game, don't get me wrong. But I just feel like it's more story-driven than actual gameplay-driven. Gene says GTA died after San Andreas for me. I don't know why. Well, it all depends, I guess, what you did. Did you play Grand Theft Auto for what it was, or did you just go around killing hookers and car crashes and shooting everybody in the city? Right? That's the difference. It aligns with how Sony is reportedly splitting Spider-Man 3 game into parts. True. Very true. Jones says, Titan, I don't think that's true. Lost the indie games are way more in-depth, but Lost not as great. There's combat in Hellblade 2, but not as good enough for Twitter. Eclipse says, yeah, I got a feeling it's going to be the same type of combat. It's going to be one-on-one combat, I guarantee it. Maybe not Maybe not, though. Oh, is that what Hellblade 2 is? Like a one-on-one combat thing? It's not like multiple people attacking you? Captain Thrust says, people don't finish games because some games get boring after a while and are too bloated. Yeah, but we could go look at... We look at achievements a lot, right? And when we look at certain achievements, it's like... Bloated's different than get to level 5, right? Bloated's different than kill 100 people while you're just playing the game. You do it. You know what I mean? Like, you look at some achievements that are done, and people don't even get it. They don't even get the simplistic trap, meaning they just turn the game on, went, and they put it down. They didn't even do anything in the game. So I get what you're saying, that, yes, certain games get bloated, and people get bored by it. But most people don't even get to the bares and essentials of just playing the game. They're like, finish the tutorial. They're like, I'm done with this. Remember, bro, the difference between what we have seen in the 90s and now is radical. This is the kids from 2000s now have seen. Big difference. Sure, the kids now are 1,000% spoiled. Right? For instance, the analogy I have is growing up with Star Wars, we just had the movies, right? We had the toys and the movies, but now they have television shows and video games and all this other stuff. Like, we had video games for Star Wars. It was a side-scroller bullshit type of game, right? But then they had, like, when TIE Fighter came out, we were, like, blown away by TIE Fighter, okay? Now they have games that are just blowing the doors off of anything we had when we were kids, and then their expectations are up here. And if anything goes below that, they're like, it sucks. Meanwhile, we're like, this is amazing. Right? I had to wait 40 years to get a Star Wars land. My son walks into Star Wars land in Disney World, and he's like, "Oh, this is cool." I'm like, "This is amazing." I was like, "Holy shit, that's the Millennium Falcon." He's like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool." But Hellblade is in 900 hours. Side note, you like doing the show later in the morning? No, I don't. Because like right now I have to end because I have to rush to go eat lunch and stuff. I like doing the 10 to 12. I don't mind it. We could do one of these a week, maybe, and go a little later in the afternoon. Maybe I'll do a member stream maybe in the afternoon or something. Once a month or something. I just think the Unreal Engine 5, if you want it to look good as it does for Captain America game, it has to be simple like Hellblade 2. I don't think you're wrong there, Eclipse. I think as good as it does and what they're doing with that engine, I don't think you could be so complex in what the gameplay is. I hope I'm 1,000% wrong. Wintar says, people don't appreciate anything anymore. They just expect it. Right? The expectations are so high on things. Dad arrested for beating kid because he didn't appreciate Star Wars. Yeah, the infuriating with it's interfering with my 2:00 show. Sorry, Jones. Well, I'll wrap it up real soon. No, seriously, I have to wrap it up anyway. Just wondering if it changed the amount of views and viewers. No. What's interesting, Prosy, my group of people that watch me are very loyal to what I do. And I love it, right? I've said this in the past. If I had 100 subscribers and 100 people watch me every single day, I would be happy. Okay? I don't really care about the subscriber number as I do for the people that are here every single day, right? So, like, I have... When I log out it'll say, it's grown over the time, but it's constant 35, 40 people show up. No matter if I start at 9 o'clock in the morning or if I do 2 o'clock in the afternoon or if I do 8 o'clock at night, right? I always get the same amount of people that come in. We get a kick up to like 48, 50. A couple days ago, we got up to like 70 and stuff. But most of the time, what's it called? Most of the time, it's the same 30, 35 people. No matter what I do, they're here watching and listening in the background or whatever. I hope Marvel Game isn't a walking sim. You know what's funny? You ever watch what's that channel you guys? I forget the YouTube channel where they do all the video game stuff. Where they're like medieval. They do the MMO type things. I forget the channel's name. Where they go skip. I always find it hilarious that that's the majority of players, right? People spend 5 to 7 years of their life making a video game. They put the dialogue, they make the graphics look good, they do all of this stuff, right? They make motion cap and cut scenes and do all this stuff. They make that garbage and the backgrounds and the mapping and everything just looks phenomenal. And majority of the people, most of the people just run through, don't look at the world, and they just tap the button. Skip. So when you see people tell you that a game is 5 hours, and I'm not talking about Hellblade, right? Right? The average person is doing the game in like 15 hours, like, I did it in 7. Like, they're literally running up, skip, run from point A to point B, do the fast travel, whatever it is, and they don't actually play the game. The game that they're playing is play the game as fast as possible so I can get the next game. Expectations are high. Are you joking? Games don't even come out finished. It's finished too high expectations. Working conditions, it's too high. You're right, Sarge, but at the same time, the people's expectations are extremely high for certain things. Even if a game hit all that stuff, people would be like, it's all right. So then think about it from the developer's point of view. They're like, why do I have to put out a finished game when half the people don't even finish the game? And the people that do finish the game, they're skipping through the fucking thing as fast as possible. And then when you come down to how many people are actually playing the game, taking their time, looking at the stuff, and appreciate the stuff, is probably smaller than the people that are the hardcore players. Right? How often do we look at Division when we play and go, holy shit, this board is crazy. You see all the detail, the layering of the trash and all the stuff that's on the board? Most people just run through it. They don't give two shits about the trash on the ground. They don't care that there's bodies packed up on the side. They're like, skip, shoot, loot. That's it. Done. Moving on to the next thing. Being appreciative and is not the same as being expectations? Sure it is. Because the expectations are they want the graphics to be good, but they don't really appreciate the graphics that are being given to them. Perfect example. The video that we saw for the Unreal Engine 5 for the Captain America Black Panther game, the 1943 Rise of Hydra, where they show the detail of snow and how it was doing and stuff like that. That's how many people care. That right there. That's how many people care. Okay? The expectations for that game is it better be a good game. It better be a good game. And when I say good game, I'm saying that the people want it to be the greatest combat ever given to a game. Okay? And as they run through and hit skip, okay? They're like, it's all right. The combat's, it's okay. They're not appreciative, and their expectations are way too high. This is why I think storytelling is so bad nowadays. It's because everyone skips it anyway, and they know that no one's going to pay attention to it. It could just be a gray box instead of a dumpster with trash in it. That's true, too. I think both are the same, though, Sarge. I think there's people that are appreciative of things, but there's also people that don't give a shit about it, right? I think a game that's unfinished, broke, buggy, and unfinished, there's still games that come out that are done, and yet people still don't give a shit about it. Right? A lot of people that played Baldur's Gate 3 didn't appreciate the attention to detail in Baldur's Gate 3. Or the story in Baldur's Gate 3. They just wanted to get to the bear fucking. Do you know what I mean? Look at Red Dead Redemption 2. Right? They literally... That game is so attention to detail. And they talk about how they made the horse testicles just to kind of promote the game. Be like, wow, there's a lot of detail in there. Right? But no one cares. Nobody cares. Skip. People play Batman Arkham, right? Batman Arkham, most people that play the game are like, oh, combat was amazing. They don't care about the graphics. They don't care about the story in that game. They literally just like to play the combat. And now every game after that, a Batman game comes out, their expectations are, it has to be as good as that. It could be completely different developers making a game, but it has to be as good as that. And when it's not that, it's shit. Can we get a square-based A-team game? I would play an A-team game. I'd play an A-team game. I mean, A-team literally was a fetch quest every single time. The entire show of A-team was a fetch quest. Gene says, yeah, that was the story. What was the story again in Batman Arkham? Don't even remember. But the combat, smooth as fuck. That's right. That's right. Spider-Man. A lot of people like Spider-Man because of the combat. But can we talk about the devs who cared about horse testicles a little too much? Maybe someone should have a talk with him. But I honestly, I think they promote stuff like that and talk about stuff like that to show, like, holy Christ, they had time to work on testicles for a horse. What's the rest of the game look like? I think that's why they say stuff like that. Guardians of the Galaxy had smooth combat and great story. What was the what was the story length on that? 8 hours? 10 hours? Or was it longer than that? $17.5. Probably how long the Marvel game Galaxy, focusing on the main objectives, is about 17.5 hours in length. If you're a gamer and strives to see all the aspects of the game, you're likely to spend around 25.5 hours to obtain 100% completion. There you go. Make a Wreck-It Ralph game like Kingdom Hearts. Oh, that'd be cool, Krebsy. Problem is Wreck-It Ralph... Is Wreck-It Ralph big enough to pull a game like that? Or would people just say it's a Mario ripoff? Yeah, I started at 12:15. Quintard says, skip. Why is my game broke? Oh, wait. I picked the counter choice, and the game doesn't know what I want to do. Hold on. Let me see if I can find... Here, this is what episode 1, right? Episode 1 skip. Are you ready? Here. I think this is the one.
Hello.
I love that. That's exactly how people play games, right? They don't care about the graphics, they don't care about the story. It's just skip, run up to the person, stab an NPC, run off to the next thing, then go on the thing. I played 20 hours of this game, and God, was it boring. Krebsy says, Wreck-It Ralph Ralph 2 had a lot of Disney Easter eggs, and also I didn't see number 2. I only watched the first one. I probably have to watch the second one. Like Kingdom Hearts, and the selling point would be Disney IP. They are making a land of that, aren't they? Is that real life or in the Fortnite world? I think they're making a Wreck-It Ralph area. It would have to have more coherent story compared to Kingdom Hearts. Appeal to kids more. I mean, it would be cool to make a game based off of video game / movie. You know what I mean? It's a video game character in a movie. It'd be nice if they had a game about him. Viva La Dirt League. That's the channel. I love their stuff. I love their stuff.
I just realized something.
All right. That's going to do it for me today. We'll be back tonight for Sarge for Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week. We rant along the way. I appreciate everyone coming out this late morning / afternoon. I had my son's award ceremony this morning, so sorry for the late start. We'll be back next week after the podcast tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back Monday morning to continue talking about gaming stories and whatnot. This past weekend, obviously, if you're part of our Discord, if you're not part of our Discord, get a part of our Discord. We have a nice community over on our Discord. I'm constantly active in our Discord, so when I'm not streaming on the weekends, I have good conversations, and we go back and forth. We post stories and whatnot. Very active for a small community that we are. So if you like that, come on by into our Discord. I appreciate it very much. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Our Discord is free for everybody, but if you want to link your YouTube account, you have to be a member to link your account, and then it opens up all the rest of the rooms. There's a general chat. You can put submitted stories and stuff in there. Appreciate it very much. You guys have a great rest of your afternoon or evening, and I'll see you guys tonight for Generation X Gaming Podcast. Peace.